read for us?
On the other hand, the total ban on cell phones in school doesn't make sense, especially since so many kids carry them anyway. Right now, plenty of students make calls during lunch or in between classes. It hasn't harmed learning in any way that we've been able to see. Why not make the state of affairs official? Cell phones are not just a way of talking to your friends. Having them makes a lot of students and their parents feel safer. Kids know they can always phone home in an emergency. Schools should recognize this and make it an accepted part of school life.
Very good. So now what are they stating, Abby?
That this should be allowed. Facts.
Facts, supporting details. She's giving the details of why kids should be able to have cell phones in school. She wants to persuade you to agree with her opinion. Do you guys feel like those are some good supporting details there of why you should be allowed to have a cell phone? We've had a lot of tragedies recently in schools around the United States. And parents had a hard time finding their child and getting in touch with them with all the commotion going on. So she's saying it will make parents feel safer if their kids have a cell phone and they're able to contact them. And I do agree with that, and that's persuading me a little bit more. So finish it up for us, Logan.
Sensible rules.
Principal.
Wait,
That's okay.
Principal Johnson should change the rules so that students are allowed to use cell phones in scientific areas, specific areas at specific times. When we suggest a section of the cafeteria be set aside for cell phone use during these periods, the administration might have another approach. Either way, it's a time to allow cell phones in school. Principal Johnson, you have a message waiting. Would you like to respond?
Okay, so who do you think they are writing this editorial, this persuasive writing? Who do you think they're talking to? Who do you think the reader of this is? Devin? Who do you think the reader of this is? Go ahead and reread the last paragraph then. You have to stay with us. Principal Johnson and Dejanay, why do you think that they're writing to Principal Johnson?
So they want him to change the rules about cell phones.
Right, exactly, Dejanay. They want Principal Johnson to see the different reasons and supporting details of why cell phones would be a good idea to have in school, and why he should change the policy. So if you would want something changed in Reevesville, if you guys have a strong opinion on something, and you would want something changed in Reevesville, who would we write to? Mr. Stutler. What about if we wanted something changed in
Miss Garcia.
Miss Garcia? We could write to her. And you said, who else did you say? Board of Education, Marion County.
The mayor.
Maybe not the mayor of the schools, that'd be more for the community. That's if something in the community, you have some type of community project you would want to implement, or something to better the community, 4-H, we could write to the mayor for that one. So let me see, I have a few questions here before we break off into small groups. So what did the kids and their parents do before cell phones became readily available? You guys might not remember this, because I think you guys have always grown up with cell phones being around.
Yeah.
But I can remember when I was younger, my mom first got a cell phone. It was probably this big, it was in a bag, and it connected in the car, and it was on a cord, like a cord house phone. A car phone, and you had to plug it into the cigarette lighter, and it was in this big bag. And then they came out with the Nokia cell phones with the real long antennas.
Yeah.
Remember those? Yeah. So they've changed. So what do you think kids and their parents did before cell phones? How did they communicate, know where they're going? Because now you can just text mom, hey mom, I'm gonna go over Abby's house and hang out, I'll be home for dinner. Or hey mom, Cole, Gage, and Logan and I are gonna go to get some pizza and then we'll be home. Is that okay?
Yeah.
You can do that now easily.
Nice little Caesar.
It's a little Caesar, it's a hot and ready pizza.
Where's
Clap twice if you can hear me. Abby, what do you think they did?
Probably wrote letters.
Wrote letters? You could write letters. That might take a little bit of time if you had to ask a question to get there. But if you had something you wanted to say to someone, you could definitely write a letter. Pen pals. I don't know if anyone has a pen pal still.
I do.
What else, Avery?
Maybe they had like a plan, like if, I don't know, like they had somewhere. Those big cell phones, like sometimes they,
Well, before cell phones, let's pretend there's no cell phones.
well, a lot of times you have to.
If you're not Avery, you should not be talking right now.
Maybe you could like walk home or.
I'll come in, you said make a plan.
Yeah, like there's like some kind of plan, like if there's something, then they like. I can't think.
We'll come back. We'll come back to you. Dejanay.
Like specific days you go over to this person's house and then you stay after school or
Yeah,
something.
you'd have to make specific days, plan in advance. Logan.
They took bottles, like if you wanted to send it overseas, they put paper in the bottle and they're not in
Well, this is parents and kids, so I don't think they're going to be overseas. Let's think about you and your mom, or you and your dad or grandparents, and you want to go somewhere after school, but there's no cell phones. No cell phones. What would you do? How would you set this up, Samantha? Make a plan the night before. That's very good. Avery?
Like maybe like if you lived close enough, like these houses down there, you could like Logan said, put something in a bottle.
Come on, that's common sense now.
We're not having, we don't have message in the bottles. We can't send it because we're using it as a quick response, like we do with cell phones right now, but without cell phones. Does anyone? Is a bird a quick way to get something, or a logical way? Well, that's a movie. We have to remember that's Hollywood. So, what about the thing you have on your? Does anyone still have one in your wall in your house?
A wall phone.
A house phone? Does
Oh.
anyone still have a house phone?
Landline.
A landline? That's not a cell phone. You can't text from it.
I have a landline.
They're making that now. You can text on your house.
Landline. You know, I mean, still have a
Does anyone
landline.
have a landline house phone?
Oh, I know you. It's awful.
That's how. When I would go over a friend's house, I would have to call from their house phone to tell my mom I was there. And before I left and rode my bike home, I'd call and say, okay, I'm heading home. And then I'd ride back home on my bike. So you'd have to make plans in advance, just like Samantha said, and then you would use the house phone. I couldn't text my friends. If I wanted to talk to my friends or ask them if they wanted to do something, I had to call them on the house phone. And I had to talk and say, is Caitlin there? Can we come out and play? So it was a little different back then. It was a little more difficult. Now it's kind of everything convenient is there. So what do you think of the way people use cell phones today? Kids, your parents, with using cell phones. What do you think, Azake?
Well, I think cell phones are good.
Tell me why you think they're good.
Because, like, for emergencies, let's say your house catches on fire and you're, like, the only one there and you have your cell phone with you in your pocket while your mom and grandma are somewhere out, and then you call someone to the nearest.
Very good. Yeah, there's an emergency. Clap once if you can hear me. Clap twice if you can hear me. We all don't have to make a comment after someone else comments. Okay? Yeah, if there's an emergency, your car breaks down, you're stuck on the side of the road and have a flat tire, and you have to call AAA, or I call my dad because I know he'll help me out. What else? Dejanay.
Cell phones are, like, better than a house phone because you can't take your house phone everywhere. And so say you're at a place and your car accidentally goes up in flames.
Right, we said it's good for emergencies. But what do we think about people using them? Is it too much? Is it too little? Are they stuck in their cell phones?
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to the Facebook on cell phones. My grandma even has a Facebook now. She even has a Facebook, and I have to help her out with using it. But that's how we stay connected. It's a great way because you can